Recognize Mr. Harrigan from North Carolina.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to our witnesses today. I genuinely appreciate your heartfelt testimony, and it is something, as Mr. Edwards has said, that will resonate with all of us forever. You have that commitment from us. I find it personally disgusting that members of this committee have suggested that this is political theater for the purpose of negotiating an open seat, while distracting from the fact that violent repeat offenders are continually let free from our judicial system. That is the problem that we have, and that is the only problem that we have, period. We've had a lot of talk about money today. I will actually give DA Merriweather some credit. He got together with local business leaders and local government officials to decide, okay, hey, what is the minimum amount that we actually really need in order to get the job done? Because from his words, he said, I don't want to throw money at this problem, because the problem really isn't money. And out of the 10 additional DAs that he needs with 5 additional staff assistants, that's exactly what the state legislature has authorized, and it's just waiting on Governor Stein's signature to be put into law. That's happening. But we've got to understand that the lack of 10 DAs in a system that has 84 DAs already is not the problem, and it's mutually exclusive from the problem of judicial posture with respect to judges and magistrates simply allowing violent repeat criminals back on our streets, as well as trial delays, which, as we all know, over the course of time, we lose witnesses, we lose accuracy of testimony. It degrades the system of justice that we have. We cannot allow this to continue to stand. But what I find absolutely indefensible is politicizing this committee testimony here today in front of these victims and the families of these victims, saying that this is for political purposes. Mr. Asher talked about statistics today. The statistics that he entered into his testimony today about declining crime are only through June of 2025. It does not talk about July, August, or September. And you know what's happened in July, August, and September? The murder rate has skyrocketed in Charlotte. We are picking and choosing what type of statistics we want to share to forge a narrative that is detached from reality. And that narrative does not line up to the experience of Officer Campbell, Mr. Federico, and Ms. Alderman. Let us not forget that. One of my Democratic colleagues said, don't judge us by what we say, but what we do with respect to money. Let me be very clear. The sole force behind defunding the police has been the Democratic Party, period. They have created unrest. They have created a desire within our population to not step up and serve in law enforcement. I had a long meeting with Johnny Jennings, the former chief of police in CMPD. And I asked for a meeting. I said, what's working, what's not working? I want to go through everything so that I might be able to help you. And at the end of what was supposed to be a 45-minute meeting that actually lasted 3.5 hours, he said, Mr. Harrigan, I just want to thank you. And I said, why, Chief? And he said, because not one time in my entire career, 30 years, has an elected official asked to talk to me about what's working, what's not working, and that let me know that they had my back. Not one member of the Charlotte City Council, not one member of the Mecklenburg County Commission, not the mayor, not a single congressperson had ever come before him and asked, how can we help, as opposed to just absolutely running him through the mud when things didn't go their way in traditional media. Guys, we have a problem here. We have a very real problem that we need to work together to solve. But we have to understand what is the root of this problem. And it is, as Mr. Moore said, it is not money. It is poor policy built on poor principle that is leading us down the road to failed outcomes. We have failed leaders who are leading us down the road to failed outcomes, and it's their kids that paid the price. That's got to stop. I've got a daughter, 2 daughters, Reagan and McKinley. They're 6 and 8. And God forbid, if something like that ever happened to them, I could not be a civil citizen. Mr. Federico, I thank you for your restraint today. God bless you. I yield back.